Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Wednesday afternoon here on Kobold Press. I am your littlest red dot, and I am so excited to be here today because you all are going to get to help me with a little bit of GM planning. Oh, y'all, I didn't turn on my lava lamp. Gotta get the vibes right. There we go. That feels better. That's right. I'm actually going to be doing some GM planning today, and not just for anything. Oh, no, 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 no. Soon, Dot is headed off to D3 at Sea, which is, our tabletop cruise of choice, and I, of course, have to run, some Midgard. And so we're going to be playing a game set in the Southlands while we're on the cruise. And I started last night kind of planning and plotting and reading, and I thought, you know what? What a better way to celebrate all things Kobold Press here at Kobold Chats than actually doing some of my GM planning live and with all of you. I enjoyed our time so much last week building characters, and the Mimic show went so well. I hope you were able to tune in. If not, the VOD is coming soon to the YouTube. But I thought, what a better way than to do a little planning with all of you and see what amazing ideas that you might have in your brain. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be up to today. I want to make sure we get a couple announcements out. We have a couple new products in store. I believe that we are getting very close to the Wasted West book going in pre-sale. So if you missed the Kickstarter, that's coming to you soon. If you made it out to Big Bag Con, I hope you got to shake hands and see a couple of our kobolds there. And don't forget, we'll be coming to PAX U very, very soon. So if you missed us, but you're headed to PAX, we'll have a booth and I'll be there all weekend. So come by, come chat, come talk, come say hey. It's a very exciting time. Now, without further ado, sorry, I was getting my headphones out of the way. Without further ado, let's start talking. Southlands. So we're on a cruise, right? And I had this idea that was like, last time we played pirates, and I love playing pirates because, pirates get a bad rap sometimes. Pirates do bad things, but pirates live a different lifestyle. They exist by a different code, and I think one of the things that draws me to them is this idea of what does their pirate code look like? This team of pirates, maybe it's a larger pirate code, or maybe it's just what's upheld on the ship. But I really love playing pirates. And last time it was all about the Middle Sea, and they did this Middle Sea adventure, and it was great and wonderful, and yay, we're sailing on a boat, and we're sailing in our game. This time around, I was yearning for something the same but different. I wanted to do pirates again, but I loved the idea that maybe they're not sailing on water. What if they sailed on sand? These are sand pirates, pirates of the desert. And I thought, what better place to run a campaign than our very own Midgard in the Southlands? Because there's huge deserts and sand pirates. So that's kind of how I got, I guess, here today. And what I'm kind of working on. So I've only got a few sessions with them. So in terms of planning, I've got about 9 hours of solid game time over 3 sessions. So it can't be too long. And I've already established that my players are going to be on the ship together, whether or not they serve the crew, or whether or not maybe they're hitching a ride, or they could be stowaways. They have to be on board this sand ship that's going to be leaving from a place that we call the Nuria Natal region of the Southlands. And actually, you know what? I can pull up this handy dandy map here. Hold tight. Midgard map, and then I'll share it with all of you. We actually have. Oh no. A link. I'm going to drop a link in chat because I can do that. Map. Will it let me do it from here? Yeah, there you go. Midgardmap.koboldpress.com will take you to a online map of the entirety of Midgard. Not the Realm of Shadows, of course, or the Underdark, but there is or the Underworld, but there is most of the places on Midgard proper surface are here for you to use. And so I'm going to add this to the stream. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Actually, let's do this so I can make it a little bigger. Okay. So when you look at Midgard, the Southlands are obviously to the south, and are this large piece of region here. And what's most interesting I find about the Southlands is there are a variety of terrains and landscape. Right? You have the large desert here, which cannot be ignored. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. And our friends are going to be starting here in this kind of green delta area known as the Nurian Atoll, specifically probably in the city of Père-Bastet. We're going to maybe make that decision today. But here they are. They're going to be in and around this region. They are sand pirates, so they did not sail in from the north, the Middle Sea here. They sailed in from the desert, so it makes most sense in my mind that would have stopped in Père-Bastet. So, and they're going to sail the sands of the Crescent Desert and the Southlands Desert, which we're going to kind of figure out in our adventure today. But what's cool about the Southlands is as you go farther south, it actually becomes less desert and a lot more jungle or rainforest. Hey, welcome in. Oh, hey, Tony. Tony's joining us at D3 at Sea. Tony's going to get a sneak peek at what I'm running my players through today. A little spoiler action. So the southern half of the Southlands is a lot more green. A lot more green. This is a massive jungle here, and this is known as the Corsair Coast, or the Spice Coast. There's a lot of travel and trade that happens through here, and obviously a lot of Corsair activity. So who knows? They might end up on the water before it's over with. But all of this through here is kind of jungle rainforest. So what I did was I prepared them for a little bit of everything, but I wanted them to know that they would be starting on a sand ship. And because I love... This is one of the first things I do as a GM is I usually build a Pinterest board. Let me take us over to Pinterest here. And I built a Pinterest board for my players to kind of show them the vibes. And I didn't really want, oh, I guess I'm not logged in. I didn't really want my players to think that it was only desert, or I wanted them to get a bigger picture of how I aesthetically saw the campaign. I find that sometimes visuals are great when you're not as good with words. Go away. Why didn't it let me in? Okay, let me see if I can fix this, y'all. I'm excited to see what there is to see in the Southlands. So, we're going to be using Shard on the cruise, a Shard Tabletop. Our dear friends over at Shard Tabletop are awesome, and I adore their system, and I find it's very easy for my players to jump in. It also has a lot of other really great options as well, such as like quick and easy startup for your players, but then if they aren't interested in VTT, they can direct print their character sheet to a PDF, which I think is one of the best things about Shard, and it's just so great. So, you know, it's a little bit of everything. It's a great starting point, and then if your players don't want to use it, they can still roll real dice and roll their character sheet and have everything that they need. It's just wonderful. So, as you all know, we did a big Kickstarter, and I might have them up here. I have them somewhere. Oh, they're in the living room because I was looking at them last night. I clearly have a big old stack of Kobold press that's building here behind me. You can see it gets larger and larger. It's finally covering this light back here. I'm going to have to move my live sign. And Southlands was one of the very first books that we actually dropped when I came on board, which is also very, very exciting. It's actually a set of 4 books. It includes the Southlands World Book, the Player's Guide, and it includes... another book that I kind of wanted to dive into as a start point today, which was City of Cats. Now, City of Cats is an adventure all in itself, and I will not be running my players through City of Cats, but Père-Bastet, where I want to start them, is the City of Cats. So I wanted to know what was going on so that when we start there, we have the right vibe, right? And then I've decided, because I think it's creepy and eerie, that their big bad, or at least the thing that they will be, I hate to say fighting, but working against, is kind of the ongoing Tusculi rise here in the Southlands. And the Tusculi are, in fact, like a bug race. Let me see if I can find a picture. Well, I got a couple here. This sounds cool. The Elite Bow. So they're kind of this bug race. And the thing about the Tusculi are that they, let's see if I can find it. Oh, some of my players have already got their characters in. That's really great. I was hoping to find the actual Tusculi build. Here's a hive queen. There's her picture. She looks really dope. But they have a long-standing history of some pretty creepy stuff. Actually, I wonder if they've got a whole section here, because that might be the place to start. Yeah, boom. Hives of the Tusculi. Look at this character art. Ugh, look at that. So good. So they're this kind of winged race of humanoid wasp folk, and they have a deep passion for overrunning the cultures in their paths. They often take over small villages or anything that kind of stands in their way. So this seemed like an easy and ideal thing to kind of put out there in the Southlands as these pirates are doing their thing. The Tusculi, much like any other hive race, have a queen. And this book, the Southlands, has 6 major hives, which I thought we would look into because that seemed like the right way to go. Yeah, so they have their own gods and goddesses, and we can dive into that. But I wanted to go into the hives. So there is one in the south, high in the hills. This one's looks like this is the greatest of the Tusculi hives. Arborike, maybe. It was the first city to embrace the patronage of their archdevil. Ooh, the Prince of Swarms. Okay. They are most fanatical and organized. I feel like the organized one sounds good, but honestly, I like the idea of like maybe a rough and tumble hive that they come up against. Something that's not quite, because there's only going to be 5 players at my table, so I want to balance it a little bit. The home of the Herald is a bullying creature who long ago shed his human form for a body composed of hellish wasp swarms. Often roams the city. Oh, he roams a city. Oh, he roams their city. Got it. Is there a way? Can I see this? Yes, this is what I want. Other major hives. That's what I'm looking for. Take me to it. Here we go. Ooh, the no-controlled lands. And is the youngest and smallest, consisting of a dozen or so columns hidden among the rock pillars and sandstone formations of the Badlands. Hive lies on the Serpent's Path ley line and is built upon a portal. Oh! So they sit on top of the portal to the Duke Arborok himself. Oh, I'm sorry. The smallest one with a population of 28,000. Huh. Y'all, this is terrifying. Okay, a corpse hive. A bulbous and misshapen mass attached to the side of a cliff. A corpse hive is composed of more than just sculpted tunnels and mud chambers. Here, the Tusculi bodies interlock arms and jaws just before they die. Then the living hive mates coat them in resin, which bonds them into a simple structure. These death sculptures are built to form buttresses, bridges, arches, and ladders as the hive branches out. What? It's built on the corpses of their own people. That is gnarly. That is gnarly, y'all. Okay. Thoughts? Thoughts, everybody? That's so gnarly. They also conduct frequent raids in Sebek Sobor, which is where the skirmish with the dwarf warriors of the Brotherhood of Axes is taking place. Ah, okay. So the Tusculi bring infected individuals back into the community and incorporate their bodies into the walls after they have served as host. Interesting. So, oh, is there a map for this? Interesting. So this is actually in the jungles that we kind of talked about, just south of where they would be able to sail in the sands. So the corpse hive looks to be just south of the jungle, which is gonna be somewhere over here. Yeah, there's the corpse hive right there. Okay, good to know. It's a little farther south than I think I wanted to go. So this one's in the forested mountains. Not quite right. I really wanted to stick with the sands. Huh. Some locals refer to this place as the City of Chimneys. As snow caps. Where is it? Where? Show me. It's on the south. Oh, it's actually in the Trollkin snowcap area. Not quite right either. All this jungle Tusculi action. Maybe I could have them travel north a little ways. Haven of the Outcast. Now that seems... Yeah, see, all of these are in the jungle, which is fine. We can have them travel through the jungle. I wanted to set up a little encounter because basically what I like to do for 3 sessions, there will be 2 encounters per session, a combat encounter and um a social encounter of some kind. Whether that's meeting an NPC or something of that nature. So basically, for each one, yeah, hey, yeah. Yeah, shake it like a Polaroid picture, everybody, for the Haven of the Outcasts. So let me just see. It might be that what they come in contact with are some raiders or something from the larger population. Ooh, look at that. My heart tells me this is the one I want to use. Because it's got a map, which makes that easy, right? What's the orange tower? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. So these must be locations inside of... Yeah, that's what this is. So what I might do is use the big one and then give them... Yeah, I feel like the Great Hive is the way to go. Let's see where it's located. Oh, no, it's... well... It's located just on the cusp, so if I look at that from Midgard map here, it's going to be over here. It's up here. Yeah, so here's the Great Hive. This makes sense, because they basically can take the desert. So they've got a lot of sailing to do. So this is how this would work. I love this map so much, and I'll show you why. So I can see how far they have to travel. So this is Père Bastet right here. I don't know if y'all can see my mouse or not, but... and if they go from Père Bastet all the way down to the hive, and they go straight there, the most direct route, if you would, that would leave them at about 1,200 miles of travel across barren desert. Which is pretty perfect. And if we take a look at like what they might pass through, I might be able to set them up for a few things based on what they're going to pass as they go down. So it looks like we've got an oasis here. I can do some research on this oasis. And because it's going to be right outside of it. I wonder if that's actually in the Southlands book. I guess I can only find out. Maybe not. Dutch. That's what I was looking for. I didn't find anything. I might have to do some deeper looking and see if it's part of something else, but... So at least I know there's an oasis. That's cool. So they'd have a stop point. Let's see what else. So I love that all of this, there's like nothing here. Which means that this is a place for me to do what I want to, or for them to have random encounters. I may pull a random encounter map out of, or a table out of Southlands. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult travel for them. These red ones are ley lines, right? These are ley lines. So to come out of Père Bastet, they're going to have to do what they're probably... Ooh, they're going to be rough on them. What they're going to have to do is either sail south or take this road out until they get here to Sewall. And so I might see what's in Sewall, because that might actually be a better place than Père Bastet to start. So, Sewall? Did I say that right? Southlands Player's Guide, Empire, Southlands World Book. Here we go. City of Gardens. Ooh, love that. Okay. The free city of Sewall is a wonder to behold. Okay. The city is the largest stopping along the road between Père Bastet and Malmet, meaning valuable merchandise passes. Okay. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. So, right? So basic. Oh, I see. So all the goods come up the Corsair coast to here. To this place. And then it gets shipped up to Sewall and then taken up the road to Père Bastet, where it's then sold and can be shipped out to the Middle Sea. So that makes sense. It's a trade route, basically. There seem to be a few... I want to know what these are. Per Marat and the God King's Mirror. These might be stops along the way, especially if we start in Sewall. Per Marat. Let's see if it's in the book. Locations, maybe? Let's see. Oops. No. Lands of Wind and Sand. Let's see what this section actually says. The northwest corner of the Southlands is a harsh and foreboding place that humans and djinn-born nomads, minotaurs, and gnolls all call it home. Okay. The Great Stone Desert stretches to the sea and a sun-baked plains of red and black rock. So that's the northwest. So that's got to be here. Oh, no, here. I bet this is all it right here. The Dominion of the Wind Lords. Okay. Let's see what it says for the Crescent Desert. Yeah, so here we go. The travelers crossing the western part of the Crescent Desert must remain wary of many fearsome monsters that inhabit it. Ooh, a dune mimic. That's a monster I'd like to keep in my... I like the idea. That's a great travel. Okay. Dominion of the Wind Lords. Great. What about... Let's see. Is that Dabu? Still getting my way around this map and putting everything into my brain here. This desert is the one I think I'm... All of this here is actually where my interests lie. Let's see. Blood flows in the river as Gnoll warriors the Dabu prepare to throw spears. Ooh. Lens of High... Ooh, no. Man, I keep clicking the wrong things. Kingdoms of Salt and Steel, the Corsair Coast, the Abandoned Lands, the Southern Fringe, Gods of the Southland. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much. It's such a huge piece of land. I feel like what I'm looking for is probably here in Winds and Sand. I just need to find the right section. Give me this. Didn't I just do this? Perilous sites of the Western Desert. Alright, well, I can't quite find what I'm looking for here. Let's try Sakarlan Deserts. How did it spell it? Sarkland Desert. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. The City of Dust is a trade center and crossroads for goods and ideas, and it grows rich by selling everything to everyone. Okay, this is perfect. Interesting. They consider it part of the Dragon Empire, not actually part of... Interesting. I'm learning things. So, this is probably considered part of... This is all the Dragonlands in here. So, they must consider a lot of this. But I want to know more about this location. Per Marat. Let me see if I search for it. I thought we'd be able to find it. Ha! It is in the Southlands World Book. Oh, it's part of the Nuria Natal region. Okay, so I just need to stick with Nuria Natal. Okay. Once a beautiful city of glossy black stone and narrow, steeply sloped pyramid, this location became a haven for demons, constructs, and the restless dead after a legion of Marathi warriors plundered the graveyard, cursing the city. The Lich... Oh, there's a Lich living there. No big deal. Is in the process of turning the area into his own purposes, see the Field of the Lost Army, and plans to use it as a base of operations as he urges his growing army of undead towards the necropolis of Sewall. Ooh, that's interesting. Wow. There's a lot going on here. Okay. Okay, I don't need to go that far north. Okay, hang on. Let's go back, because now I know it's in the Nuria Natal region, and I can actually pull what I need here. Cities of the River Kingdom? City. That's Nerina Natal itself, coming, which is a great map, by the way. This is a beautiful map. Look at that. Such a beautiful. So this is the river that we see. Oop, that we see up here, because this is Nuria here. So this river right here is this river right here. There's Coramel. Where is it? Okay, so then there's Coramel. Where is Père Bastet? I may have to go to the actual full book for that. Here we go. City of the Cats. The 9 districts of Père Bastet. Let's pull up that map because I want to see it. Oh! There's so many. Let's get the... Okay. Well, that's... Yeah, perfect. That gives me a rough idea. Okay. Cooler summers and warmer winters. The cats of Père Bastet believe the city's namesake walks the streets and allies among them. Okay. I know all of that. This is the one I was looking for. There's the city. Beautiful. Here's that same river it sits on. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I knew that. I knew I wasn't crazy. Père Bastet, this is why I chose Père Bastet. Père Bastet has a river of sand that runs into the city at 15 miles per hour, coursing through the city's core beneath numerous aging bridges before pouring into a vast funnel-shaped crater known as the Pit, where it vanishes. Objects carried into the pit are sometimes found years, decades, or even centuries later, often hundreds of miles away in random locations in the desert. The river is home to earth elementals and emits a strong aura of elemental magic. This is the one. If we take a look here, let me zoom in. I believe this is the river of sand that comes into the city. And it dumps into what they call the pit. Yep, this is the one. So they're going to come out of Père Bastet, which I think is fine, and they can sand river in and out. They just don't take it all the way down. What is the last crucible? So there's a lot of stuff for them to do. We'll start out with the city so they can, like, pick something up, I think is what they're going to do. They're going to be picking something up from here, and they're going to have to take it out into... So they'll pick it up from Père Bastet here, and they have to take it out and into the... I think they have to get it all the way to... I need a good place down here that they need to be going. Yeah, maybe it's just this oasis here. Maybe there's like a stop along the way. What is the God King's mirror? I want to know what that is. Some things are in here, some aren't. No. I don't see it. Looks like another great oasis. Maybe they take it to... Okay, so maybe they're... You know what? Maybe they're delivering it. They leave Père Bastet, they pick up the goods in Sewall and take them to the coastline here. And then I think somewhere along the way, they're going to get sidetracked in the desert. And I don't exactly know how. I'm thinking a sandstorm of some kind. There are, let's see. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So they have like a few stops they have to make. This keeps your players on track to actually do what they're supposed to do. Let's take a look because I love this. Oh, and I finally did get, just for... I'm pretty sure I got my Pinterest board up for all of you. Maybe not. There we go. I think I did. I think I did. I think I did. I did. That's not right. I guess I'm not in the right account. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Yes, I'm definitely in the right account now. It's prompting me for things. Okay. Nope, not what I wanted. I'm going to pull it up so I can show you some of the stuff I pulled, which is kind of fun and how I tend to do stuff. So I made a board for them of some of the things that I thought they'd come across. And I wanted to show them the vastness of the world that is the Southlands. So I just started kind of pulling. Ooh, an enticing mirage, you say? I like that. An enticing mirage. Of what, though? Of what? I mean, the enticing mirage of an oasis after spending days in the desert is not a bad idea. I like that. So I pulled a few things. Some of these are actually Kobold press pictures, which I found on Pinterest. But some of them are just some general art that I really liked that I want to. One of the things I love about the Southland is how large it is, and that so much of the Southland feels like it's left over. I wouldn't say apocalyptic in nature, like it's like another place or it was another place in time, but that the actual environment itself is a character, right? The harsh reality of the Southlands and its environment is a character. Like you said, an enticing mirage, or the heat, or the sand, or the extensity of travel without any signs of other life. And I wanted to show how small I want the players to feel at certain points. Not the players, the characters to feel at certain points in the game. When they see the vastness of the place that is a literal sea of sand. And so I tried to put together some photos that kind of inspired the different areas, what I think that they're going to come across, the ways in which I might describe things, and really impact my influence. Since they're starting in Parabastet, I did a section kind of on that. Obviously, it's heavily Egyptian influence. That's true in both the Kobold Press book and the city itself. Well, that's a great question. So there are parts of the sands of the Southlands, and I actually will put this one on the screen because I think this is a great question. Is the river of sand sinking like quicksand, or more of a flow? And I think that depends on where you're at. There are absolute areas of the Southlands that are like quicksand, right? They'll swallow you whole. And I think the same is true when you get into the like sandstorms or these mirages that lead them off track. And then there are places where the sand is denser, right? Like we have entire sections of the Southlands that's hard rock, but in places like Parabastet, where you've got the river of sand, it's flowing at about 15 miles an hour, which means you can technically sail on it. In certain areas where the winds are high enough, if you have a sand ship, you can sail on the sand. So I pulled obviously a lot of cat inspiration for this, but the thing about the Nuri and Natal region is it's really based off the delta in Egypt. At least that's the vibe that I got. So that means that because it's so close to water and because it's lush, it has more greenery and more color than the deserts themselves. And so I wanted the characters and the players to kind of start out in this richer environment so that when they travel into the deserts, it's harsher. It's a harsher reality for them, and you get that juxtaposition while we're telling the story. So I pulled a few things that I really loved. This one in particular was the first image that I pulled, this sacred cat. That feels so Nuri and Natal to me, or like so City of Cats to me. But I also loved this, and I'll pull this one up bigger. I loved this kind of like marsh, because I imagine this is what a lot is like around there. Yeah, I like it. So really just to set up, they're going to be able to get supplies and obviously get the main kind of quest line while they're here, or at least the setup that they need to pick up goods for delivery, since they are in fact pirates. But the ocean of sand was really the thing that I was most drawn to. I love the juxtaposition of playing on this cruise ship and these beautiful blue waters, but our game itself is set in this kind of harsh sand reality. The juxtapositions of two different kinds of oceans. And the pictures I pulled were about making the setting feel larger than life and making them feel very tiny. And so a lot of what I pulled was of that, of these silhouettes, or look at this sandstorm. I love this. And we'll probably use this at some point. Super inspired by that idea. Look at these kobolds. These are cute kobolds. Look at these little kobolds. This one also really inspired me. I recently watched, it's not a terribly great movie, but it's good for background noise. I recently watched the Scorpion King movie with The Rock, made back in the 2000 whenevers. And one of the scenes that I loved was the scene where he's outrunning the sandstorm. Yeah, it's a good one, where he's outrunning the sandstorm, and he lures the men in to this kind of like cave that reveals itself, or this underground cave system, and the sand's like pouring in like a waterfall. And he uses the environment of the desert much like anybody else would use a natural environment around them. The way his mask is made to keep like sand out of his eyes and things like that. There was just a lot of like minor detail that really inspired me. And then when I found this photo, I love this idea of finding themselves in an underground cavern, or especially if they're out hunting the Tusculi or come in contact with them. They have their own hives, but they may be built off of, natural caverns. And there was something about the way that the sand falls like water that really fit that juxtaposition that I was kind of looking for. The same with this one. This one was very, very cool. Like down to a door of some kind. So I pulled a few things, big sandstorms. I love the idea of like large scale creatures and the bones of them that have been left behind of creatures of the past. I also really loved this. The gods themselves play a big role in the Southlands, or at least are heavily influenced. I mean, there's an entire city of like sorcerers, right, on the edge of the jungle, and again, this kind of larger than life mentality. And so I was drawn to these concepts of these like large hands, these big sand statues that have been lost to time. I am going to add camels. They do not have to ride on horses. Camels are a great alternative. There are also options for like lizards, large lizards to pull their stuff or to get them out. And more than likely we'll see that when their sand ship is like brought into dock and has to be brought through rocky areas, it has to be pulled by something if there's no wind to support it. So I love this. I love this massive hand. And then I found another one where it's just the tips of the fingers. But I liked the way that it made it feel like the sands of the desert itself were shifting constantly to develop the land. It's like it reminds me of Dune, right? Like you tent up for a night, but when the sands and the winds have passed, you wake up tomorrow and the desert's completely different. No landmark is the same. And so this idea of the tips of this massive rocks like peering out, and that tomorrow they may not be there, was a huge part of how I kind of saw travel and the struggles that they're going to face. I also pulled an oasis because everybody needs a good oasis. A haboob? Yeah, yes, exactly. That's it. It changes. It's ever morphing, and I really want the deserts themselves, especially since we're going from this very short run, is going to be from the perspective of sand pirates, to look at the environment in which they thrive. Because much like sea pirates that we know, they thrive on the ocean because they have adapted to the ways of the world in which they survive. And in this case, the sand pirates may look similar or sail a ship, but the way in which they have to survive their surroundings is significantly different. So of course I did an ocean to sand section. I'll flip through the next ones really quick. I wanted to hit the Corsair Coast because I just wanted to show that differentiation of what you could come across. In my mind, the Corsair Coast looks a little bit like what we would consider Jurassic World, or like a Jurassic Park, right? There are beautiful vines, a lot of green, but even sections where like the desert touches what is inevitably going to be forest. Again, this theme of hands kind of reaching out that I was drawn to, where you can see like areas of arid, but it's beginning to get green again, and not in the same way it gets green around, say, the Delta. And so I wanted to pull these kind of places where water exists and is in vast amounts, and it's not just sand, but it is just as ever dangerous. Like, look at this one, right? Or this one was a good one too. That's set like at an oasis. You can see the desert in the background. Huge mouth of that. And who knows, my players may never even get there. I never know what my players are going to do, but I have to plan for them. So I also wanted some creatures, right? Because certain areas of Midgard are more populated by certain types of creatures. And the kinds of creatures that populate naturally that area set an aesthetic tone for the game that I want to play. And so I pulled some that I was really kind of drawn to. Again, some of them are straight out of the Nuri and Natal. So mummies, for example. But also the genie and Jin, I wanted to really hint at, and I pulled a lot of pictures of these kind of bugs that I imagine the Tusculi are very much inspired from. But then you also get other large insects and creatures like massive scorpions or desert spiders. But there are also other creatures of the Southlands, right? Like gnolls are hugely popular, and seeing the different kind of ways that gnolls could be portrayed, I think, is really important. So I pulled a lot of gnoll pictures for this. But the one that I really liked and I was drawn to, and I wanted, or to a couple that I wanted to show off, were actually this one, because I love the idea of not only being sand pirates, but there can be outlaws and all kinds of people of the Southlands. And this kind of outlaw figure riding a large lizard, like desert lizard, was like deep in my mind. Like, how cool would it be to just come across a dude like riding a lizard in the desert? And then this other one here, which was a look at what like a traveling caravan could look like. Now, this creature itself may not be there. I might put it on the back of a triceratops or another large scale creature of the Southlands. But I love this idea that this trading caravan that you may never come across, but is always out there somewhere, is traveling with this little man, and it's all attached to the back of this big creature. They do. Magic the Gathering does have good art. There was another one that I found that had some really good art that kept popping up, and I can't even remember what it was now in the top of my head. Um, but the thing I wanted to really do this board around, and the thing I wanted to inspire my players for, was actually their ship, the actual sand sailing part of it. I think that anytime you can give your players control over something, they will pour their heart into it. So they are going to be a crew of some kind, or at least on board the vessel. One of my players has already taken up the kind of captainship, so it will be their ship. And I wanted to give some inspiration of the kind of cool ways that sand ships can exist, because the Kobold Press book, and I'll actually look it up, has some really awesome photos of sailing. In fact, I think the front of it, oh, I keep looking like I'm going to find the book on that shelf. It's in my living room. Has some. Let's see. I think actually Welcome to the Southlands, one of the very first things we see is kind of sand sailing and ships. But I really wanted to show other ways. Like, what are the mechanics that survive a sandy location? What are the mechanics that can be used, or like, how is a ship built to be used in a place like this? Might actually be in the front. Yeah, so you can see this is a sand ship on the front, the literal front cover. Man, that is so beautiful. So there's a lot of, I guess, option there in terms of what they want. And so I told them to be creative, and so I gave them a few ideas of things that I found that they might take inspiration from. Like this guy, for example. I loved this look. I loved it so much, and I loved it because, can I get it bigger? Oh, I guess I can. I loved it because it looks like this is done by a rock hopper. This is part of Legends of Runeterra, but I love the idea that maybe you just sail by yourself. Like, there's a surf option, if you would, to get around, that maybe you don't have a giant ship, or that ships come in various shapes and sizes. There's the kind of schooner concept with the double sides, but then you could also get something like this, which I think is adorable, which is almost like a paddle boat, but it paddles through the sand. Which I think was a really neat idea too. So part of this was for my inspiration, because I love the idea that sand pirates are going to come in contact with other sand pirates. And what do other pirates sail, and what does, in this case too, what does my player's sand ship look like? So I gave him a few things that I found online that I thought were really cool. Like, this one was really epic, like super duper epic. And then I found a map, because it never hurts to like have a look of what like a smaller option of a sand ship could look like. So I'm leaving it up to them to decide. Obviously it's got to be a big enough for 5 people, but they're going to get to design it. So this was also a big kind of deep dive I did to look at some cool sand ship options. This is actually some 70s sci-fi art, which inspired me too. I love the like wheels on this one that could go over sand. Very, very cool. I look forward to seeing what my players actually come up with in terms of the inspiration for their sand ship. But because I've given them so much inspiration, I wanted to make sure that this actual campaign stayed focused on the kind of sailing aspect or being out in the seas, even though they may come in contact with the jungle or the Nurian Atoll. So if we pop back over here, most of probably our session 0 will start here, and I'll give them a little like meet the people, grab the stuff, and they'll get their mission, if you would, which is that they're going to take goods from one location to another. In this case, we decided it makes most sense for them to go from Sewal to, I'm going to never get this name right, Mahalmet, down here on the coastline. Now, whether or not they make it there is a whole other story. A whole other story. I'm not ready for them to get super down into all of the lich mess that is going to be here. I think if they get off track, I guess I can throw some lich stuff in because it's pre-prepared, but really what I want to do is write some kind of original encounters. I like the idea of a mirage, and I imagine that there's probably some options for that. Like, oh man, look at this battle on this ship. So cool. So cool. Like, I might have to have crocodile something. Because I like crocodiles. Perilous sights. That's what I'm looking for. Dune Howler's Hold. The holding and its operations are now run by Hurgrek, the Slim, a female gnoll. Okay, she doesn't like violence, so... Privateers are generally allowed to operate as they please. The Nurian Navy doesn't interfere unless ordered to by its leadership. So she's been left to kind of handle Dune's Hold. Howler's Hold. Let's see where it's located. Okay, so it's proper on the outskirts of Nurian Atoll. It's north, so that one doesn't quite work for us. Ooh, that's interesting. So it is a really fun heist adventure to run, though your players could end up with millions of gold, so it had to come up. I mean, there's nothing like telling pirates they need to pick something up and deliver it, but it's not ready for pickup. That they actually have to go heist it. That's actually very fun, Ice Pilot. That's a really fun idea that I might steal from you. That way I could use the pre-prepared materials there. They have to heist what's there and then move it to the coastline. That's very, very fun. Last time in the game I ran on the cruise, they started out as water pirates and then were basically banned from the Middle Sea because of their actions. So they became sand pirates. It could be fun this time for them to be sand pirates that have to become water pirates because they make some poor choices. Oh, that's terrifying. Let's see what this Field of the Lost Army. Okay, so that's also a little farther north. I might do that. I really like that. That's a very fun idea. Thank you. It's in the Midgard Sagas. Okay, yeah, I've got that in a PDF. Oh, sand pits. Here we go. This is what we were talking about. The sand pits. Give them to me. Oh, it's in the Crescent Desert area. Man, nothing's in the area that I'm wanting to play in here. I may have to make some stuff up. That's the salt pits. Where is that? Okay. Here's the lost tomb of Menetka. He was a minor Nurian king of iniquity. It is one of jealousy and hubris. The greedy monarch was turned into a pitiful ghost when his plans went awry and the ritual he performed to be reborn after his death backfired. Becoming increasingly paranoid, he constructed his tomb. He turned his resting place into a death trap that steals the breath of any who dare enter. That's pretty sick. And is technically on the way. It could be used as maybe a location of a heist. City of Scorpions sounds fun. Ooh, the City of Scorpions. Unsurprisingly, the Scorpion Goddess' largest temple is located among the broken buildings and foliage of the old city. Per Amarna was built over an aquifer, so the faithful of the temple and whatever Temaseshk nomads are in residence at the time have no risk of dehydration. Mummies! Okay, so this is definitely... Okay, so this is looking like a win-win right here. Because what they could do is come out of Parabastet, have to come to the City of Scorpions to retrieve something, and then deliver it south. So it looks like she keeps a few prisoners in her chamber off her quarters on the 3rd level of the temple. Her guard often whiles away his idle hours watching the temple scorpion sting the captives. Their screams are the only sounds that bring him joy. That's messed up. Oh, this is perfect. Here we go. The husband of one of the prisoners seeks the rescue of his wife, a woman with white feathers in her hair. He knows she has taken near Hyrek Hills and is willing to pay a small fortune for her safe return. Boom. They think they're picking up a package. They're picking up his wife. I think that, I like that they have to pick up a person. I might make it his daughter instead, his young daughter, because I could play her easier, I think. I like that. Now, who this man is to have a small fortune. How does the City of Scorpions have a king? And if so, is it the Rock? I think his name will be the Rock. Actually, it has a queen, I'm pretty sure. A high priestess, excuse me. Because it is a ruin for the scorpion goddess. This other place, Wanton Ryba. Wanton Ryba? I'm never going to get these names right. Located less than 2 days travel, is also got a lich in it. She uses this site as a base of operations where she tries to divine the locations of her moon dial, parrot, and spear, which were lost when her body was destroyed during an attempt to conquer Sewall. To date, her efforts have failed, but when she recovers her relic, she will once again rise an army of the undead and attempt to wrest control of Sewall from its current leaders. You know, there's also, that's a really cool option as well, thinking about this spot, that the 3 items are what they are trying to keep away, and she's chasing them. If the priestess of this location, what if they're not after a person? What if the priestess of this location, no, I'm so sorry, the City of Scorpions, yeah, Para Arna, is, because it looks like, keeps a few prisoners in the chamber, many mummies housed there, the resident cultist swarms of poison vermin. Yeah, the real question is, do I want to make this a heist to get the girl, or do I want to make it a heist to get the 3 magical items to keep them from this? Because then what they could do is basically, they have to collect the 3 items and bring them back. And one of them could just be located in the City of Scorpions. Which I like. A lot. Yeah, damned man. I could call her, her informal name is Dwayne. Dwayne Johnson. Okay, I like this. This is a really good setup. So the setup now that I think we're going to go with is, I need to find 3 locations. This lich woman has not been successful. What was her name? Yafram, the Desolate, love it, has placed her phylactery, an immortal black desert rosebush, in the village still intact cistern. So this used to be a village, is now not, where it is guarded by a quartet of ghouls. The lich also uses the site as a base of operations where she tries to divine the locations of her moon dial, parapet, and spear, which were lost when her body was destroyed during an attempt to conquer Sewall. So basically what I could do is have my players kind of in and around the Southland Desert seeking those 3 items. The moon dial, the parapet, and the spear as the 3 things, with the aim that each game we play, they find one of the 3 items. Ideally. To date, her efforts have failed, but when she recovers her relic, she will once again raise an army of undead and attempt to wrest control of Sewall from its current leaders. I was also thinking that what's in Hyrek Hills, they mentioned it a little bit for this city right here, didn't they? Hyrek Hills. I feel like I saw it. Yeah, okay, so the man who's missing his wife, who has been taken, was taken near the Hyrek Hills. Let's see, it doesn't really say a whole lot that's going on there. And it doesn't really define it. So it seems like more than likely it's territory of this city. that may be used for something. Let's see what else is on the map fully, because if I come in, it's over here. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be marked by a whole lot, but that also could be because this location right here is also guarded by a lich. So there's a lot of undead lich activity in this area. Makes me a little trifecta action between this like tomb and all of this. There's a lot going on. The tool that we are using Tabletop Misfits for this prep right now that I'm going to be using is actually a Shard Tabletop. My players have some of their characters in, and before we go today, it's going to be the fun part. We get to choose some magical items for them. And this is combined with the free Midgard world map here, and the Southland world books available on Shard Tabletop. I am building this little adventure. I did a Pinterest board too, but that's pretty standard. Everybody can do that. Yeah, we're using Shard for this one. So, is there a log? Type notes about the current encounter. I don't want to do that. So, this is all very good. Now the question is, where are each of these items located? It feels to me like the Priestess of the Scorpion Queen would have one of the items. So I like the idea that they have to break into the Scorpion City. I think that's just too much fun to turn down. So I think what we'll do then is there will be a heist for an item here. Which item would she keep? She would probably keep... What would she keep? It's built over an aquafire. A spear, a parapet. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. I want to know what's going on at this God King's mirror. Because I like the idea that there might be something here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do, but that works. Here. Maybe this lich. Okay, so this lich that's here at Per Marat is wanting to take over Sewall for himself. So her taking over is not going to make him happy. So maybe he's sitting on one of her items too. I think if he's a lich, I'm going to say he might have the spear. And then we could do it was a spear, a parapet, and the moon dial might be here. Now, the question is, what is the third location? And I like the idea that maybe it's a little bit harder to find. What does this have to say? The Tomb of Mintka. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. They have to go into this tomb to get one piece of it, which means they have to enter this death trap where anybody that goes in can't breathe. Love that. So those are the three locations. So we're going to use this actual trifecta of tombs and lich activity. Here, this one's actually a Scorpion City, a lich headquarters, and a ancient tomb are the three locations where the three items are hidden that are being held from this lich here, this demi-lich, and their goal is to collect all three items and bring them. I think, you know what, we might not make it to the Corsair Coast. It makes most sense for it to be brought to the leader of Sewall, because they're going to want to protect the city, which seems to be at the crest of activity. Yeah, somebody best bring some smite. Oh, that's good to know. If you decide to use the City of Scorpions, you can mine more information about CELESTE and the Demon Cults and Secret Societies. So first off, the Demon Cults and Secret Societies is one of my absolute favorite side books from Kobold Press. I have built, this will actually be now 2 adventures that I have built in Midgard using that PDF alone. And it's not a big PDF. It's a, couple 20, 30 pages maybe. So good. Actually, the Northlands game that I wrote focused on one of the cults from there, and then I think I'm going to use it again. I think we're going to go to CELESTE and take a peek at some of the secret societies that's going on, because they've got to figure out how to get in and out for each one of these, which I love. So that's going to be the basic structure. It's funny, actually, the way that I build my games is that in this case, anything that's already here, I'm going to use. So like the priestess is going to use this first servant. And what's great about Shard is as I go through, if I click like first servant, it makes the first servant available and I can immediately add it to an encounter. So this character sheet is already prepped. I don't have to spend time prepping a character sheet. Her guard is a Null Berserker, so I can just, I can probably pull a basic Null Berserker template, for that. Where's this pyramid? Did I miss that? Because I like the idea of a pyramid. Oh yeah, it's on the other side. That doesn't help me, at all. That does not help me. So we'll probably stay in the Nurian Atoll region, mostly in the Southland Desert. If they're lucky, or if things go awry and they have to run for it, I think what I'll do is set them up where when they run from the Southland, or from Sewall or wherever, that they're going to try to run towards the coast. And they may actually end up here in this trade city to be able to hit the White Sea and so forth and so on. So there's a probability they won't make it to the Corsair Coast, but who knows? My players may be like, screw it, we don't want to do what you've got laid down, and I'll improvise everything on the spot. But I love this idea of trying to keep these 3 artifact items. It's a very good structure for what is basically a very short campaign over 3-hour sessions plus a 3-hour session 0, and I think I'm going to cover whatever is happening in the first set down in the session 0 here at Père Bastet as like a setup for characters and players here in the city. They get to meet each other, they get the thing, the blah, 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 blah. And then they'll get set up for the larger adventure, which is they are to pick up a package here in Sewall, and the package is actually going to be 3 items that they have to continue to get. So it'll be a nice setup each time they can get one of the items, and then at the end, we'll see how things turn out. Do they keep the items? Do they take them back? Does it corrupt them? I've got to kind of maybe think up some of these items, what these items are doing and what they're good for. But that is very helpful. Chat, you've been super helpful. Thank you for letting me talk out loud. Thank you for giving me ideas and pointing me in the right direction, and for making a Scorpion King joke and reference. That's gonna have to get used. That being said, the last thing that I had to do today, and this is the fun part where I'm gonna need your help. I told my players that each of them are gonna get a magic item from Vault of Magic, but I like to give my players, because I told them that because their sand pirates have been traveling for a while. None of them are fresh adventurers. I think I'm starting at level 6, so they have a little bit of, like, stuff behind them. So today I'm going to take a peek at their characters that are complete, get a vibe, and try to pair them with some magic items. I'm still missing a few characters. It's fine. We'll go through what we've got for today, and then we'll close out. So it looks like I've got a Dunewalker elf. Okay, is a Sewati traveler, which is really good. You want to know why? Which means they're probably from the town in which they're trying to save. Very important. A nice tie-in there for us, and a great way for me to activate this character to want to actually save the city. Looks like we've got a cleric. Pretty standard cleric here. Looks like we've got a lot of stuff maybe to do with heat and fire. Yes, there are spells specific to the Southlands that came out in the Southlands book. Actually, I think Southlands Player's Guide. I believe this has a whole section of spells that are specific to the Southlands, and one of them is like control earth or control sand, or like sand sculpt or something like that, that does allow you to do kind of a similar thing. And then depending on your race, some of them have some extra sand or like desert themed, I don't want to call them feats, like class builds and stuff like that. Let me see, did I prep Vault of Magic? Pick from library. Let me pull it up, because I think we're going to need to take a look here at Vault of Magic. There we go. All right, Vault of Magic me. So my character here, Kidrith, seems to be a cleric. Looks like they've got a blunderbuss. Oh, right. This is my... Yes. Dunewalker Elf Cleric. This is my cleric, Black Powder. My Black Powder Cleric. So they are all about fire and explosion. Love that. And they've got a blunderbuss, which is nice. So I want to look at maybe... Some armor for them seems like maybe a smart thing since they're from the desert. I might go look at some magical items for them and gift them something. Good to know. Let's see who else is finished. Nolina. As an arena Null, good. And a caravan rider, smart. Good build for this pirate campaign. Looks like they are also a gunsmith. I'm going to guess that they took gunfighting and they probably took the background. If they're using dual weapons, both a sword, I bet they're a buccaneer. Circle of the Desert Druid is really cool. I'm going to guess they took the buccaneer features. Black powder sailcloth. Gun mastery, burst maneuvers. Okay, great. I need to look. I've got to replenish my burst knowledge. Hardy. Yep. Oh, good. They're a desert caravan routes. This is a really great build. This character is awesome. So I need to maybe look at something interesting. It looks like they've got a scimitar. I bet I could find an interesting scimitar. But I'm also of the mindset that you don't always have to give players a weapon. This is a fighter, so I probably will. But I might look at some other stuff. Okay, so these are my two, I think, finished fighters. Yeah, so Lara's is not done. Whoever's this isn't done. So these will be the two we kind of pick for. So if I go back to the book and we just take a look here at our table of contents. I'm gonna start with armor and weapons. I'm gonna start with armor and weapons. And actually, I know y'all can't see it. Oh no, where is it? Oh, it's at the bottom of my stack. I was gonna like physically open the book, but let's see. Always looking for blades. One of them had a scythe, which could be interesting. You know what else I haven't done? You know what? Let me, before I dive into Vault of Magic, there might be Southlands gear. That's what I was looking for. Yep. So they've got some scimitars. I want to see if there are any magical weapons. Oh, yes, the bladed scarf. Such a cool item. Love the bladed scarf. Literally just what it sounds like. Really cool item. Not quite right, I don't think, for either of them. Double blowgun. These are good, but not magical. And I really wanted to give them like a magical item. A stabbing knife. War boomerang. That's dope. Wrist knife. So they do have a camel saddle and an elephant saddle. So other ways of travel. Yep, so a slit mask, of course, is... so it doesn't look like they have any magical items, at least not in the player's book. Doesn't mean they don't have it. It just means it's not in this book. Let's go to the world book. That seems like where the GM would be. Southland magic items. Okay. Apron of the Eager Artisan. Ashes of the Fallen. Blood Drinker's Spear. So, you know what? Honestly, if I've got a spear, I might pull some of these magical items as the items that they are seeking. The Crimson Carpet. Oh, that's a cool item. Crocodile Armor. The Eye of Horus. The Eyes of the Portal Master. Okay. The Fly Whisk of Authority. Woo! Headdress of the Cattle Queens. Oh. And you know what I think what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to make it so the Tusculi are simply hunting them. that maybe the Tusculi are seeking these items for themselves, for their own purposes, but they're going to come in contact with the Tusculi at some point. Okay, an axe. Mantle of the Lion. Mask. Marimba. Oh, that's cool. A pocket oasis. Oh, that's cool. See, some of these I'm going to give them or they may come in contact with, but I'm not going to give it to them to start. I want them to, like, find it or have to trade for it. This is cool. Okay. This is I'm going to give one of them these. It might be my cleric, actually. I know clerics don't always wear sandals, but looking at this, they're a dune walker, so they have to walk the sands, and they have this whole, like, fire vibe that I love, and so I love the idea that maybe they can, because of their magic item, Sandals of the Desert Wanderer. Now, here's a question. Can I don't think I can. I need to be able to give this item to someone. So if how do I do that? Treasure. Pick treasure. Add items. Here we go. Just took me a second. What are this? Sandals. Okay, I didn't like that. There we go. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Deserts of the Sandal Wanderer. I'm going to add that to the treasure. Save. And then I can give this item. Nope. Nope. Save. And then I should be able to grant it. Oops. Dang. Right. Oh, yes. Okay. And so then it gets checked, and this gets distributed to this character here. So I can go ahead and give that. So now there's not a piece of shared treasure. Oh, welcome in, Raiders. I'm so sorry I missed you. I'm over here in, like, GM land. Welcome in, welcome in. We're so excited to have you. We're doing a little GM planning today. I'm using Shard Tabletop, and we're planning a Sand Pirate adventure that I'm going to be running for D3 at Sea, which is the tabletop cruise happening in about 10 days, everybody. So I am so happy to see all these Raiders. Thank you for bringing in such amazing energy and so much love. So right now, some of my players have established their characters, and I'm assigning a few magic items to them. So my cleric just got the Sandals of the Desert Wanderer. I actually like the idea of maybe I'll give a wearable item and another, like, a weapons item. Like, maybe they'll get both. This is very, very cool. Let's see what else we've got. Currently, I'm going through the Southlands magic items, but I might give them some other. Spice Box of Zest. What's up? These are both fighters, and they've both chosen a black powder option, so I will not be giving them that. Let's go back over to, no. Let's go back over to Vault of Magic and pick back up where I left off. So, I gave a wearable item. I feel like maybe the cleric deserves a weapon. Kind of. They've got the blunderbuss and the sickle. The blunderbuss and the sickle. I wonder what's in here for that. Ooh. The arrow of unpleasant herbs. Ooh. Oh, I bet you I can search. Right? I bet you I can search for the sickles that are available if I wanted to replace their sickle with a, like, an actual, yeah, I bet you I can. Let's see what sickles come up. Sickle of Thorns, Sickle of Warning. What is the Sickle of Warning? that's a nice, and it's an uncommon, you know what? This is going to come... It's not bad. It's not a Kobold press product, though. Yeah! It is a VTT, Shard Tabletop. You can go to play.shardtabletop.com. It's free to sign up, and all of our Kobold Press products are available, some for free and then some for purchase, but it's such a wonderful... Y'all, I literally love. Note that today, my GM planning has actually been going through this because the setup for doing encounters is actually just based in the book. So, like, this map that I pulled up was just a click from the book and where it showed. And so the next time I take them somewhere and I need an encounter, I would just click the map, it pop up, and then I can add their tokens directly to this for map use. It's so wonderful. The character building process is super easy, and for me as a GM, you saw how quickly I just distributed magical items to them, which I'm going to do again here in a second when I find the one I want. Maybe we won't. So we gave them something to wear. They have a blunderbuss as a cleric and a sickle as a cleric. What else have we got that I could... Looks like we've got some alchemist supplies, navigator's tools. They are... They've got some undead stuff going on here. So maybe, I wonder what kind of sand items I've got. I did, you know, let's just see. Sand skimmer. What's a sand skimmer? Oh, it's the wooden land vehicle slides up to a single sail. The skimmer sits atop too narrow. I'll look that up later. What I wanted, but not what I wanted. Sand suit. Ooh, that's very rare. Okay, yeah, we'll save that. That's a much bigger task. For this cleric, you know, there's a part of me that really wants to give them, like, a scroll. A scroll seems like... brain juice. I believe, if I'm correct, Nolina is our... I just had an idea. One of the two of them are our captain. But I love this. I love this. I'm going to... I know what I'm looking up. This is going to be one of the items they get. It is a bottled boat. Is a wooden rowboat, but I may make it a small schooner, like sand schooner, for them instead. Yeah, this is so perfect. This is gonna go to no, I need to come up here and add treasure to the group. I gotta pick the treasure. It is the bottled boat. Save. Save. Grant. I don't know who I'm going to give it to yet, but somebody's going to get the bottled boat. I love that idea. So many things. How do I choose? Liquid shadow. Luring perfume. I wonder if I can get this. I scroll so much better in a book, y'all. Let's see if I can get it out without dumping everything over. Haha. Okay. I've also marked a ton of things in my physical book that I haven't marked here. And I can go through a quick list and just see what comes up, because there's no telling what I might find in... But how did they get the boat in the bottle? That's the magic part. Just wait till they have to get it out. Ooh. A scroll of treasure finding. That's good. I was looking for something that might be like wind, right? That would give them... Just looking here to see what's my eyes find. A trident. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I only see one pistol in here, and it's of the Umbral Court, which doesn't seem right for this game. And I don't see anything that kind of... I was looking for maybe for... You know what? I could give the crocodile armor to our cleric. The crocodile armor could be pretty spot on. Let me see, what kind of armor is Nolina wearing? Because they're just our fighter, right? Heavy, light, medium shields. Martial. What did they actually take, though? So they took a studded leather armor. I think I'm going to give the crocodile armor to Nola. So let me go ahead and gift that. I'm going to add that treasure. Let me pick the crocodile armor. Crocodile armor. Magical light armor. Yeah, perfect. We'll save that. We will share the treasure. Oh, wait. Nope. Grant that. Now I can come in here and go to the treasure. I think what I'm going to do is pick treasure, shared treasure. I'm going to give the crocodile armor, distribute to Nolina. And then I'm going to give the bottled boat. I'm going to distribute that. You know, I'm going to distribute that to Nolina, too. I think I'm going to pick something else for our cleric. I don't know what yet, though. And I also don't know what my other players are planning to play. And that could range. You know, a variety of, like, things, I guess. Because if I get, you know, a long-range fighter or a deep magic user, I might be able to come up with some other cool things of use. There's also like a scroll of treasure finding, which seems right for treasure finders, but I don't know how treasure finding they are. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh. Huh. Never mind. I thought that said winds. It said wilds. Different. Well, that's a good start. I really did want to win something. Scimitar of the Desert Winds. Look at that. I feel like maybe... Tell me about this item. Now, see, that makes me want to... Who was using the scimitar? Somebody had a... Was it Nolina? Dagger, pistol, scimitar. Yeah, I should actually give that scimitar to... Hang on, let's see what equipment they've got. Because I gave them the bottled boat, which I want to... I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to take the bottled boat. I'm instead going to give them the scimitar of winds, or whatever I just found. Of the desert winds. That's the one. Let me copy that, because y'all know I'm going to screw that up. Okay. Treasure. Pick a treasure. Add items. Desert. Scimitar of the Desert Winds. Yes. Save. Save. Grant. Now I can come in and distribute it. Let me pick that treasure. Oh, wait, no. Nope, nope, nope. Oh. I'm going to just go ahead and distribute this. One of the cool things about Shard is the way I'm distributing like items like treasure. You can also do that for gold. So you could be like, oh, here's 100 gold for the encounter. And then when I come in here to pick the characters to distribute it, if I pick 4, it evenly distributes that money directly into their gold count for you. It does all the math. It's wonderful. It's so wonderful. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and distribute this one to Nolina. She's going to get the scimitar. And then I'm going to pick a new treasure. Add items. You can add the scimitar directly, but I'm giving them magical items, which you cannot. Bottle. Let's do the bottled boat. I'm going to give somebody the bottled boat. I just don't know who it is. It's just too good for this. So for now I'm going to save it. I haven't granted it or distributed it. I'm going to go ahead and grant it, but nobody's going to get it yet because I don't know who I want to have it. So that is, I feel like I got to get something cool for my cleric. I got to get something really dope for my cleric, and I don't know what it is. I gave them these sandals of sand skating, which I think is very, very cool. And I might change things depending on... Huh. Oh. I might give them something like a compass or a map, depending on who the captain of the ship is, because that seems smart. And makes a lot of sense. Huh. A language pyramid could also be cool. But that would be for whoever our charismatic person is. Okay, so there we have it. I've at least started into this. I wondered, I bet it's not on here. Let's see what book I do have. So if I go to the Southlands, Nuri-Natal, Cities of the River Kingdom section, and they will be starting, like I said, in Père Bastet. So I'll reset. So here we are in the city of Père Bastet. Players on their end would see this at the moment I loaded in. And then anywhere that we go here, so like if they're like, oh, I want to go to the flood market, if I go, I can click and it takes me straight to the flood market section, like in here, so I can see what's like going on, I guess. River of Sand, which is how they're going to probably come into all of this. Oh, there's a sunken pyramid. That's cool. So yeah, there will be something going on here, and I think what I'm going to do is have maybe Père Bastet herself send them on this mission, though they won't know that's who it is. Because the Nuri-Natal, the whole area is kind of protected, if you would. And they'll do some poking about, but then episode 1, or I guess session 1, will really take place in the exit of Père Bastet into the larger section of Nuri-Natal. Take me back to the map. Take me back to the map. Here we go. So that they can see. So they'll be leaving, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, everybody. They will leave Père Bastet. They will head southeast towards Sewall. When they get there, they'll get the larger story that they've got 3 items to claim, which will be in these 3 locations. Père Marat, Père Amarana, and the Lost Tomb of Mint Ka, where hopefully they'll be able to collect all 3 items and bring them back here. That could go not according to plan. Really could not go according to plan, depending on what they find. Welcome in, Crit Witch. And we've got, like I said, those 3 items. So if I go to this in the book, that she is looking for. She being Yafram the Desolate, which is this female human lich. She protects her phylactery here in this abandoned city. But she's trying to raise her undead army, and she needs 3 items to do it: the moon dial, the parapet, and the spear. And so those are the 3 items that they're going to have to find. I wonder if there is a moon dial in the magical items. There's not. Moondrake, moon traps, moon. Nope. Okay, that's good to know. Let's see. There was a spear I liked. Oh, I can't remember what I called the spear. It was, oh, I know where it was. It was actually in the world book, wasn't it? It was, why can't I find what I'm looking for? It was in here, wasn't it? Oh, this is because it's, no, Corsair Coast. Magical items. Gosh, I just can't read. There was this one. This is the spear. I just passed it. Where'd it go? Spear. Blood Drinker Spear. Yeah, we'll do, I like this. So the blood, I'll go ahead and prep this as well in treasure, because ideally if they get the spear, it'll be prepped for me to give them when they get it. So I'm going to pick a treasure, add an item. They won't, nobody's going to get assigned to it yet, but this is it. The Blood Drinker Spear. Save. Add items. Oop. Save. We won't add that, we won't distribute it yet, but it's there. It was a spear. What did I say? A parapet. I wonder if there is a parapet. Parapet? Parapet. Yes. Okay, there are. There are a couple. Parapets. I didn't know there would be so many parapets. Parapet of health. Parapet of proof against lies. Parapet of proof against poison. Parapet of wound closure. Of eldritch knowledge. It feels like if she's raising the dead. When you remove... Okay, so the spell's more powerful. If you have a meta options, you can apply a meta magic option to the spell. When you cast a spell, the spell scroll isn't consumed. Interesting. It's pretty dope. Sorry, I'm looking through all of this going, oh, I have so many ideas. I'm already way over time, but I'm hanging out with y'all, so I'm enjoying it. Parapet of health. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because honestly, it's going to be what she would wear. While you wear this pendant, you stabilize whenever you're dying at the start of your turn. Yeah, I think the other one, the other parapet, is the right move of eldritch knowledge. Okay, so we will add another treasure. So I don't lose these items in my brain. This is how we prep. This is why we prep. Parapet of Eldritch Knowledge. It is considered a wondrous item, so that makes sense to me. Saving. Save. Oh, did it not add... Oh, I had to grant it. Damn. Dang it. Let me try that again. I didn't do it right. Let me add the spear back. Blood Drinker Spear. Save. Save. Grant. Okay, I just have to give it to them, which okay, that makes sense. And then this moon dial, which I don't really have a thought about. It might just be a regular old moon dial, or maybe I'll go digging and see what I could find. I'll go see what I can come up with, because a moon dial makes sense for like traveling and whatever. So it is a great platform. It's a wonderful platform. It's even cooler in play for a variety of reasons. I can show you, like, I'm looking at the GM section, which gives me this third panel here. As a player, you don't get that third panel. Instead, you would see the map over here in its totality, and then your character sheet would show up here. But some really cool things that it has as we close out for today is actually the initiative order, or the initiative process, which is what I like. So let's just say they go into a random encounter that I didn't really prep for. I can easily pull a map or easily pull my creature very quickly. So I can just like search for Knoll, right? Knoll pops up. It's now a monster. This Knoll is here, and I just need a quick Knoll. I can add it to the encounter, so I can add as many as I want. So let's say there's 2. And it immediately adds them over here. When my players roll their initiative, it changes their initiative order. That's their AC here. It changes their initiative order here. Both my Knolls rolled a 9. So as my players, if they were to roll, so let's say Kidrith rolls. I'll walk y'all through this. Kidrith rolls for initiative. They rolled an 11. It immediately put Kidrith at the top of the order. If Nolino rolled... Nolina got a 7, immediately puts Nolina at the bottom. I now make them visible. These would be the other 2 players, but they're now all in order. And once I start the round, like actually start this encounter, so if I hit start, I would pick the encounter if I had one prepped, which I can go prep some of mine encounters for them. So let's actually just say I pick this desert. I don't know. I like this rock roach. So I can add a rock roach if I want it. Or if I need to build a quick encounter in the desert, it gives me creatures that would be readily available in a desert setting. I could say, no, I want to do this Southland tomb event. So if they're going into a tomb and then I just pull a death vulture, add it like I just did those 2 gnolls to the encounter, done. And then we can actually go into the round. So up for their first turn, you can see up here in the upper left, I can put the first turn order is Kidrith. Kidrith pops up. I can see their character sheet. They can see their character sheet. They take action. I don't know. They make a brimstone attack. Oops, so sorry. They cast a brimstone attack at a first level. So it would look something like this when it comes through. My character gets a save dex, so we do the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. They roll their bludgeoning damage. They roll their fire damage. So both of them are done. And then I can actually, right here in the same turn order, alter the gnolls' health, which is really nice. So they have 22. They just took 17 of that. So I would say minus 17, right? And it immediately takes their health down. If another character enters combat, I can add their initiative and it would add them to the roll. And then I can actually show the next turn. Then it would be the gnoll, Nolina, so forth and so on as it rolls through the character sheets. And then when I roll up, it rolls us into round 2. So it also tracks my rounds for me, which is really, really nice. Based on, if you like to do XP based on what they kill, right, versus like story-based XP, depending on what you add to this, so I added 2 gnolls, that would be worth 200 XP. At the end of this encounter, I can hit finish and distribute that 200 XP for both gnolls, saving it to the encounter log and hitting OK, and it gives my players that experience immediately. And then I can actually say 50 XP to 4 players, and I grant that treasure. That I can pick, like, if they had whatever on them, gold or whatever. So it's a really nice system that actually walks straight through. That is, I can make that optional. I can make it so that they can see this initiative order and the health. Or I can make it so all they can see are the names of who's going next and not their health tracker at all. Yes, it can be very, very helpful. The round tracker is one of my favorite things, and how simple it is to pass stuff out at the end. So you have a lot of options. Shard also lets you, because I know a lot of us like to play with table rules, right? And I may come in here and let's say, that bottled boat that I want to give them isn't really a rowboat, it's a sand schooner. I can go in and alter the text on the magic item. So for example, if I come in here, I can pull up the bottled boat. I don't know why I didn't like that. I can pull up the bottled boat. If I add it, I can also edit the attributes of this bottled boat directly for my game specifically. I can say that it actually has 3 uses, not 1 use. I can say that if it was a potion, it could have an extra thing, or I can change it. It allows for me to come in and actually alter a lot of this, including the typed text, so that even when I hand it off to my players and I've altered it, they still get the altered version and none of that is on them. Which makes it just super duper helpful. Okay, everybody, I have talked your ears off. We've done some planning. Y'all have helped me work out what exactly I want to kind of like base this little one-shot that we're going to be running at D3 at Sea on. I want to thank you all for your time and hanging out and diving deeper into the Southlands, because I learned a few things too about the Southlands today that I didn't really know. Some of the balances, some of the places. When I get back from the cruise, we'll talk all about it, but I've got another week, so I will see you back next week at same Kobold time, same Kobold channel for another Kobold Chats where we talk all things Kobold Press. Thank you so much for being here today. And make sure if you liked what we did, you can go check out all 4 of the Southlands books over on the Kobold Press website. And we'll, you can get your hands on some of what I'm digging through. I appreciate y'all. I want to go raid somebody, but I'm not sure who's online right now. I want to go share our raid love. You shared it with me. Let's share it with them. Let me check really quick and see who's online. Let's see who's online right now. It looks like our dear friends over at Table Story are out playing some Spellwind. Spellwind is, we actually had Mythmatic on to talk about his homebrew world of Spellwind, which he tends to use some Kobold Press monsters in. So we're going to go raid them. Let me make sure this works. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to do this, y'all, from Twitch because I'm not using that. So bear with me. Let me switch over here. We're going to go raid everybody. Send your love. Make sure you don't pop out of chat until you tell everybody what a great job they're doing. Share that love. Share that tabletop joy because we cannot do it without them. We just can't. If I do this and I do that, will it let me? All right, we're raiding out. Go share your love. Go say hey to Table Story. Let them know Kobold Press sent you. And we will see you all back here next week. Same Kobold time, same Kobold channel. Have a great afternoon.